talk to you for a minute about intercultural communication. Well, actually, effective intercultural communication and developing intercultural communication competence, because that's really what we're talking about in this class. Okay, so let me say this first of all. If you come in and you say, oh, I don't have any stereotypes, I don't have any prejudices, you're lying, okay? And the truth is not in you. Whether we want to admit it or not, all of us use stereotypes. Stereotypes are our way of dealing with a massive amount of information that we encounter on a regular basis. So what we do is we figure ways to organize the information, group it, catalog it so that we can understand and make sense of the world around us. We cannot afford the mental space of dealing with every individual and every individual situation as a new experience. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so what we use is we use schemata. These schemata will help us to understand the world around us. You know, what happens in the classroom, what happens here, what happens there. It also helps us to understand people. How do we interact with men, women, children, blacks, whites, Latinos, Asians, Native American, like all of these dynamics, all of these groups. Okay, so how do we deal with the physically challenged, the hearing impaired? We have all of these stereotypes, these schemata that form the basis of stereotypes. Now, let me say this about stereotypes. All stereotypes generally have a kernel of truth in them. Okay, they come from a kernel of truth. It's a little truth that's taken to extreme, and then everyone's put into the category. I like to tell the story of a class I taught at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And it was one of my favorite classes. It was interracial communication. And we specifically focused on African-American and European-American or black and white communication and interactions. Well, what we did was we decided to do a little stereotype exercise. So I had the students break up into groups. So the white students were going to be a black family and the black students were going to be a white family. And they were just going to be sitting down having dinner. Now, this is where it gets really funny, right? So everybody gets in their groups and they figure out what the family composition is going to be, what people's names are going to be, what they're going to have on the menu, how they're going to interact, how they're going to communicate. Now, the only way they can do this is based on their information, their stereotypes, the knowledge that they have from personal experiences or things that they've seen on TV. So let me tell you how it goes. So I let my black students, my African-American students go first. So they're sitting at the table and they're having dinner, okay? It's the mom, the dad, and the children, and they have one child who's in the Klan, another child who everyone's mad at because they were talking to a black person. And for dinner, this is what they had: macaroni and cheese, rolls, and milk. No, you didn't mishear me. The whole meal was macaroni and cheese, rolls, and milk. Where was the meat? I don't know. There was no meat. I guess white people don't eat meat. I don't know. Okay. So they go through and they do their little skit and everything. And, everyone has these typical quote unquote white names, right? So they go through, they do their skit and they're laughing. Everybody's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. It's all funny, right? So then the white students' turn comes and they're doing their skit. Okay. Everybody's name ended with Isha, Shaquisha, Lalisha, it was the mom and the kids. For dinner, they had fried chicken. They had some greens. Somebody been hanging out with some black folks. They knew about those greens, okay? They had some greens. They had cornbread. Guess what they had to drink? Come on. I'm going to give you a minute on that. No, wasn't sweet tea. No, wasn't Kool-Aid. Definitely was not milk. Everybody knows that most black people are lactose intolerant, right? What? Coke 45, even the kids were drinking Coke 45. Oh my goodness, my black students were so terribly offended. How could they say that? Why would they think that? Okay, so we end the little exercise, right? So we're talking about it. And the kids were cussing the mama out at the black people's house. Now they got that twisted because you cuss your mama out at the black house, you ain't gonna have no teeth. Pow! Automatic smackdown. That's a smack cam for you, okay? So we're talking about the exercise, and as we're talking about the exercise, the black students were like, well, I can't believe they said this, and I can't believe that. I said, hold up. Now, wait a minute. You all went first. You all had them eating macaroni and cheese, rolls, and drinking milk. That was their meal, the whole meal. One of the kids had to be in the Klan. Why? Because they're white. One of the kids got to be in the Klan. Are all white people in the Klan? Clearly not. So where does this come from? It comes from some stereotypes. It comes from some things that we just believe, that we've got schemata of, that we've seen on TV. All of this stuff informs it, okay? So why are you tripping? Because they're using the same type of information to portray black people, okay? So, my black students were like, well, and I said, anyway, who just eats macaroni and cheese for a meal? That's the whole meal. That's the main course? Really? So, here we go. In typical Dr. V style, I have put my foot in my mouth, because why did one of my white students raise their hand? We eat macaroni and cheese as a meal. In fact, that's our favorite dinner. Oh, are you kidding me? So, in my effort to dispel the myths of the stereotype, actually, I found a kernel of truth, right? So someone had been to someone's house and that was their meal. They had macaroni and cheese and rolls, and that was the main course of the meal. And that's where they got that from. So they assumed and applied it to all white people. Now, do I think all white people eat macaroni and cheese as their main course? I don't. Do I think all white people drink milk at dinner? I don't. But neither do they think that all black people have names that end in Isha, and it's just the mom and the kids, and the kids are cussing the mama out, and they're drinking malt liquor. Everybody's drinking malt liquor at the dinner table. They don't think that either. But we do draw on what we know. Now, after I broke it down, then everybody was a little bit better. But the point of the matter is, we all have stereotypes. We all have preferences. We all have prejudices. And if we say we don't, then we're not being honest with ourselves. And if there's nothing else that you learn from this course, is you've got to be honest with you before you can be honest with anybody else. So let's make a conscious decision to be honest. Can I share something with you? I have prejudices. I do. I admit it, right? Okay, so here goes. Hi, my name is Dr. V, and I'm prejudiced against big men. Okay, don't hate me. I tend not to be really attracted to really large men. That's just my prejudice. Does it mean that I mistreat men because they're large? It doesn't. I got large men in my family. My brothers are big men. I'm not attracted to them. But they have no trouble getting women, so it's not a problem. We all have them. Stop denying that they exist. We even have stereotypes. Stop denying that they exist. Recognize them for what they are. And don't make the edges, the boundaries so rigid that when a person fails to fit within the category, that you don't know what to do with them and you try to make them fit. Listen, as an African American woman, as a black woman, and yes, I am, and I don't want you to say, but I don't see you as a black woman. I only see you as a person, because I am black or African American. I am very much a woman. And if you're looking at me and you don't see that, I've got a major problem. I'm going to go get some work done. Okay. Work is getting done. But I want you to see all aspects of me and allow me to see all aspects of you, and let us relate to one another and enjoy our differences and not try to deny them. I don't mean any harm, but I can get as hood as the next person. Okay, I can roll my neck. I know black women are stereotyped as neck rolling. I am a neck roller when necessary. I will pop an earring off and I will fight you. Okay, got all of those dynamics, but that's not the core of who I am. It can come out. It can. I might not always speak in standard English. I don't. Sometimes you just got to get with people where they at. Where they at. You feel me? Scooby. Okay. All right. But regardless, you guys understand this. At the end of the day, we're all people, and everyone wants to be valued and recognized for who they are. So even though you have stereotypes, even though you have prejudices, don't let them define a person and lock them in. I don't think there's a box big enough for me. Not because I'm so big, but because I just don't fit neatly anywhere. Those are my thoughts on effective intercultural communication. Accept people for where they are and who they are. Don't try to deny their differences. Embrace the difference and enjoy it. In fact, I believe that difference is what makes life a little bit better. And then seek first to understand, and then to to be understood. If we do those things, we can establish some genuine relationships, create real bonds, and make real change. And that's what communication and diversity is all about.